Welcome to my channel, the IEP Solutionist. If you like my content, don't forget to press that like button and subscribe. I am here today to educate and guide all of the parents and I would say young adults on a journey to getting help in the special needs community. I also am here to give you a little bit of background on myself. I gave birth at 40 to a 9-pound, 4-ounce bubbling baby girl. I did not foresee the particular developmental disability that she was diagnosed with at 2.5. I did think that having her late would take chances as far as having a diagnosis of cerebral palsy or of that nature, Down syndrome or something like that. But I never thought about autism. She was diagnosed at 2.5. Before she was diagnosed, she was great. She was meeting all of her milestones, and I was on top of everything. Even her vaccinations, I wanted to be that parent, was doing the right thing. As soon as she got her MMR shot, everything changed. She stopped talking. She stopped eating. She started stymieing. Those of you that don't know that language, and I didn't know that language at first, she basically was doing things in a repetitive form, rocking back and forth, really, really hard, almost banging her head against everything. Spinning, she would spin and spin and spin without even getting dizzy. She would line things up. They would have to be in perfect order. Other things that I recognize is that noises would get to her. She would cover her ears. She stopped sleeping through the night, and I would literally have to walk her or rock her all night for her to sleep. That's a sensory issue. The things of the sleeping and the eating and the hearing, even smells, they were all sensory. But at that time, as a new mom, I didn't know what was going on. This happened all of a sudden. I took her back to the pediatrician. Now, these are the steps that I recommend any parent to do when they suspect that their child has regressed when they were originally doing it and now they're not, or their child is very, very late. For some reason, they're not walking or they're not crawling. Something is kind of off. I'm going to give you the first steps to this journey. The first step is to go to your pediatrician, inform them of what you've witnessed, and possibly before you go to the pediatrician, have everything written down, because this is a very emotional moment and you don't want to forget anything, and you don't want to be swayed by the pediatrician that, some children are delayed and they're going to catch up. This is an only child and they're going to be slower than others. You don't want to get that. You want to be very stern on what you're asking, what you are witnessing as a parent. So the first thing you should do, request a developmental pediatrician referral. That's the first thing. Once you get that appointment, start doing your research based off of all of the symptoms that you are seeing from your child. Everything that is different, jot them down. And then start Googling these symptoms and have an idea of what it could possibly be. You're not trying to be the doctor, but try to have something for the doctor to go off of. So when you go to see the developmental pediatrician, let them know, this is what I've witnessed. My child was doing this, now they're not, or my child is not doing these things at all. And in that way, you'll be engaged, and you'll feel more like a part of the team instead of just throwing everything in the doctor's lap and say, figure it out. You don't want to do that, because this is going to be a journey that you're going to have to be engaged through everything. So first step, regular pediatrician. Second step, developmental pediatrician. Now, here comes the diagnosis. What do you do? In my situation, my diagnosis for my daughter was autism. That was a blow. I was lost. In the moment, I was lost. I cried. I cried a long time. I grieved because it was like I was grieving the child that I had lost, because she was a different child. She wasn't my same bubbly, smiling, calling me mommy. She wasn't that. She was like a shell of a child. I took that hard. And finally, I had to just say, okay, pull yourself together. This is not going to help her. Crying is not going to help her. All I was handed was a Medicaid packet, and the doctor said, good luck. I didn't know who to talk to. I wasn't referred to any support groups, any resources for her, nothing. So I had to go on Facebook, find my way, weed my way through. It was hard. I became a part of a community that I never thought I was going to be a part of, the disability community. So once I got into the community and I started talking to parents, they asked me, is she in school now, early intervention? At that time, I didn't know what that was. But as soon as they mentioned that, I got a telephone call. This is step 3. Enroll your child into early intervention. That's if they're young, 2, 3 years old, 4 years old. The state will accommodate you and have your child enrolled in the early intervention program. The problem with that is you don't know what to ask for. When you get into the early intervention program, you are introduced to an IEP. That's step 3. But it's an IEP. An IEP is an individual educational plan. It is meant to help our children to not be left behind. You've heard of No Child Left Behind, right? That's what the IEP is for. Also, you may hear the word FAPE, F-A-P. That stands for a free and appropriate education. Sounds good. As a new parent in the game, in the community, you're like, oh, this is great. This is great. My child is going to get some help and they're going to get back on track and they're going to be the best. Not quite. If you don't know the jargon to be able to communicate with that IEP team in the public school, you're lost and you're not a part of the team. You have to learn all of those acronyms and what it means. All of this is now legalities. It can get very messy, very intense. You as the parent are seeing things that the school may not be doing for your child. When they say they are doing these things, it's chess, not checkers. So you have to learn the ropes. If you don't have time for that, that's why there are people like myself. I have now become a certified IEP coach. I didn't know what that was in this journey until I went through the nightmare of the public school system and having a special needs child. So an IEP coach is kind of like insurance. I know you guys have heard of like prepaid legal or legal aid where you have an attorney in your back pocket. Having an IEP coach is the same way, because if you are in this community, you're going to need to talk to someone right away. You can't wait for an attorney. A lot of people can't afford an attorney, and there are a limited amount of special education attorneys. So IEP coaches or advocates, they may call them, we're the in-between. We're the go-between of the school system and an attorney. And believe me, they're ready for parents that say, oh, I'm going to get my attorney. They have a team of attorneys waiting. It's hard to go against a whole school district, and then you go up to state. I got close. We went into mediation, and I mediated for myself. I got what I wanted for that third grade year. I wanted my daughter to have a 101. They were not trying to provide her with a 101, but she needed that in order to receive FAPE. How could she receive a fair and appropriate education if she was not getting help? Okay, so they eventually gave her classroom an aide, not her own aide, the classroom. Eventually, that didn't work out either. That was third grade. Fourth grade, I find out that she had no aide at all, and it was on her IEP that she had an aide. This is a federal document, you guys. They have to do what's on a federal document. And if they don't, that's where the lawsuit comes in. I didn't have any more energy to fight. I have been fighting ever since she was 2. I decided that instead of filing a lawsuit, I'm going to educate her on my own. And I sent a mass email and said, as of such and such date, due to the negligence of the school system and basically not doing what they were supposed to do per the IEP, I'm pulling her out. And that's what I did. They never responded to me. Not one administrator responded to me. I pulled her out in 4th grade. She is now in 9th grade and is thriving. She's thriving. She plays the acoustic guitar. She's been in biochemistry, literacy for kids, since 7th grade. She was invited to Princeton University last year to present to graduate students of the difference between dog DNA and human DNA. She crochets like an expert. I think that if she would have been in public school, these opportunities would not have been available for her. So I looked and I scrounged and I got her in everything possible that I could. She's also in tennis. She also plays softball. She is also a scout leader. She's in Scouts of America, not Girl Scouts, but Scouts of America. She is now, if you're familiar with Scouts, she's a life. So she's made rank to life. Her next ranking would be an Eagle Scout. So I could be no more proud than I am right now. And I want parents to be empowered no matter where your child is. They're angels, they're gifts. Even nonverbal, they have gifts that we don't have. Don't give up on them. Don't push them to the side. They are meant to be here. So I'm going to end this segment. My next segment is going to be on sensory. It's summertime. Our kids love water. And I'm going to be focusing on all the senses, the safety of water, and what you should do to keep your children safe. Until I see you again, thank you. And don't forget, hit that like and subscribe. I love you guys. I love you, family.